time to meet Clifton.
With your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Meet Clifton. Of course, my co-host George is with us tonight, and we're just talking about, hopefully we'll have an early spring. The weather's getting nicer, and the days are getting longer, so
we're waiting for it.
We're waiting for it. We have an interesting show tonight, so I want to get right to it. So we'll be right back in a minute. Just sit back and listen to some songs by the Two Tones.
Tonight's guest star, nutritionist Taryn Clayton, former ADA chair Colleen Murray, and Passaic County freeholder John Bartlett. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Meet Clifton.
He doesn't drive a Cadillac car. He sure ain't the boy I've been dreaming about. He's sure the boy I love. Let me tell you now, he'll never be a big businessman. He always shops a million plan. He sure ain't the boy I've been dreaming about. He's sure the boy I love.
Okay, welcome back. We have a very interesting guest today, and actually we're going to talk about nutrition, food, and the body. I'd like to welcome Taryn Clayton.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you.
Good, how are you?
She's a nutritionist and plant-based chef. I don't even know where to start with this topic because nutrition is such a big topic in this country. But let's start with the first question we have is, what impact does nutrition have on everyday life?
So nutrition is the basis for all of human functioning in the body.
Okay.
Whether it comes to the nervous system, you need your minerals, calcium, magnesium, B vitamins for brain function. So there's a lot of nutrition playing in the role of just living and breathing every single day.
Okay. Now, I don't want to talk about bad nutrition because that topic could go on forever, but a big topic people like to ask, and especially me, is supplements. You know, people think that they go to a health food store and they buy the one a day or whatever, and they're covered. So we have to touch on this a little bit. What's the benefits, or how do you supplement this in with your diet?
So supplements are not the be-all, end-all for nutrition.
Right.
You can take a multivitamin, get your daily dose of vitamin A, B, C, D, down the gamut, but real foods are going to provide you with the fiber, the other nutrients in that food, the cofactors to help absorb those nutrients. Supplements are good when you're in a crisis, if you have anemia and you need more iron.
Right.
Or if you're prenatal and you want to take more folic acid, maybe you have an autoimmune disorder and you need certain enzymes or nutrients to help your body digest and stuff like that.
So it's kind of like an insurance policy.
It's more like an insurance
Right.
policy, exactly, but it's not that be-all, end-all that you should be getting everything. You still need your macronutrients, protein, carbs,
Right.
fat, coming from the actual foods itself.
And it's my understanding that, let's say you're going to take a vitamin D, you might take that stands alone, but in nature, the vitamin D also has other components, as, I don't know, milk or whatever, vitamin D, right?
So there's other things that are coming from the food source that you're getting that vitamin
Right.
D from, but there's also, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, so that needs fat in order for your body to absorb it.
Right.
So typically vitamin D is found in foods that already have fat, which are thus allowing your body to absorb them at a higher rate.
Right, because it's this whole vitamin thing, people think that they're covered, and yet their diet is horrible.
Yeah.
And really quickly, let's say you have a really bad diet, but you're taking vitamin. Let's say you have too much sugar and too many. Does that affect anything here?
Well, the detriments of having maybe too much saturated fat, too much sugar in your diet, the nutrition supplements you're taking aren't going to counteract that. They're not going to cancel out the negatives that are coming from having too much saturated fat
Right.
or having too much sugar.
Right.
You're going to have to do, whether it's exercise to help lower that, or eating a healthier diet, eating more fiber, having things that have the poly and monounsaturated fats to lower your cholesterol, stuff like that is what's really going to help you, rather than just thinking that a multivitamin is going to cure it all.
Right, because a lot of people think that the vitamin is the panacea for health, and we know it's not. We could probably talk about that forever.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
the vitamin, they think they're going to the vitamin store, and they have to understand that it's a holistic approach. You just can't be taking vitamins. I guess we could talk on that another time.
Yeah.
It's too big. I want to get a touch on. We hear so much about organic versus conventional.
Yes.
And I know, obviously, organic costs more, so people are going to say, but what are the advantages of, the organic?
So there's a couple things that come into play when you're talking about organic foods. The first main two that people discuss very often are antibiotics, hormones, pesticides.
Right.
So these are the things that if you're buying meat that was raised with antibiotics and hormones and stuff like that, you're looking at antibiotic resistance, which is plaguing our country per se. You're looking at through pesticides. Pesticides are known carcinogenics. These are things that are leading to cancer and other kind of health ailments when you're eating them. And these are the things that are found in conventional foods. So yes, you're paying more for that organic price, but it really comes down to what your priorities are. If health is your priority, you're going to find those benefits in organic foods.
Okay, and George had a question, and I know
How can you tell if it's organic? I go to, let's say, a ShopRite or a Stop and Shop, and the banana, let's say bananas are right here, and they're 49 cents. I go down on the other aisle, and they say organic. How do I know where organic is? And how do I say, is it really organic?
So any food that is really organic will be certified organic, and there will be a emblem on the label saying USDA certified. That means it hit all of the criteria that it needs to be organic, and that sticker with that symbol is only given to products that are certified organic.
And they're really certified?
And they are really certified. If you
Okay.
see that sticker, it has been certified by the USDA.
Okay.
So what you're saying, it's pretty hard to eat organic, because you don't even know if the vegetables and the fruits are technically, you go to wherever you buy your fruits and vegetables, and you buy bananas and carrots. Are they bad for you? I don't, I'm trying to.
Well, conventional versus organic, you're still getting the benefits from eating
Right.
an apple.
Okay.
You're still getting that fiber, you're
Right.
still getting those vitamins. However, with the organic foods, there's also new studies showing nutrition is a new broad topic that people have been studying on. There's evidence saying that organic foods have more antioxidants in them and that even have higher rates of nutrition, and that would come from the fact that these organic foods don't have pesticides to block out these bugs and other predators and things like that. They're using their natural vitamins and other types of nutrients found in them to survive while they're growing. And this leads to you need more lycopene to back off insects that are coming to try and eat these products. So ones that are being attacked by insects and natural environmental influences are going to naturally be stronger because they need these vitamins, minerals, other things found in the foods to actually survive and grow in
Right.
our world.
Stuff we don't really know about.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate the public is not educated because the advertising and the plethora of things on TV, the bad food they push, and that's just the way that, when they tried to ban the soda and things like that, it's a great idea, but you can't tell people, how to live.
People have to make their own decisions, exactly. But it's about educating them and letting them arrive to those conclusions.
I think it's how healthy you want to be. If you live a healthy lifestyle, sleep, rest, water,
Mm-hmm.
you want to eat the right foods, and that's something you have to look into. Obviously, you do that, and you're chef too, so
Yeah.
you're making food. But it's obviously, I think a problem is it's more expensive.
It definitely is more expensive, and that just comes down to what your priorities are. Again, you can go out and spend $10 on a beer if you're going out and want that, but you can spend $10 and get a bag of carrots, a head of celery, and something else. It
that's
really
true.
depends where you want to put your money.
Yeah, that's true.
Organic's expensive when you're looking at conventional, but there's a lot of other things we spend our money on that we don't think twice about.
Right, that's true. And people who maybe they go out for dinner once or twice a week, they have one or two drinks, that's $10, $12 a drink, $24. You
Yeah.
can buy a lot of organic. Yeah, I can appreciate that. And the last thing I want to touch on here is that, and it's one of the questions, most people are under the impression that carbs, fats, and sugar are all bad for you. Okay, so you're going to have to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so many people come to me always thinking carbs are definitely the enemy. They think fat is the enemy, a fat-free diet, a carb-free diet is going to change their lives. And in reality, nutrition is about balance. We've discussed that before. It's about making sure you have all the components necessary. Fat is necessary for brain function. It's necessary to cushion your organs. It's necessary for a lot of things. Saturated fat is maybe not as necessary. That's where we get into it. If there's good fats, there's bad fats. There's
Right.
unsaturated fats and saturated fats. You want to be leaning towards healthier fats. Carbs are the basis for energy. All carbs are the first thing that are broken down into sugars to feed your body energy. Sugar, not as necessary as the other two. you can survive solely on the natural sugars coming from your fruits and your vegetables. Processed sugars, added sugars, not as necessary.
Right.
But the sugars coming from your natural food sources,
Right.
there's nothing wrong
So
with them.
Fruit sugar, technically.
Fruit sugars,
right?
yes.
Now, could too much fruit sugar be bad for you? Because, we hear about diabetics and they shouldn't eat so many fruits. I'm not too sure how
I
that
think
plays
that
in.
it depends on your current standing nutrition. If you're pre-diabetic, you want to be gearing more towards the lower sugar fruits such as berries.
Okay.
But if you're a natural, healthy individual, fruits are good for you and you shouldn't be cutting them out just because you think they have sugar.
Right.
Because then you just start this whole elimination diet that in turn is taking away things that you really do need. Fruits have antioxidants, they have fiber, they have a lot of other good things. And if you're eating a large variety of foods in your diet, it's all going to even itself out. You're going to get the benefits where you need.
Okay, so if you're going to avoid an apple or an orange, but you're going to go out and have a fast food burger,
Exactly.
I don't think that...
Just because you think you're getting
right,
protein from the burger
No.
doesn't make it better for you.
Yeah, and just one little last thing, because I'm not too sure. When you're looking and it says fats, okay, we know there's walnuts have fats.
Mm-hmm.
What's when it says saturated, polyunsaturated, what do you have to stay away from? What's the good one?
So-
and the labels, because...
On the label, it'll say total fat. You'll
Okay.
have your saturated fats,
Right.
which those are the bad fats. Those are the
Okay.
fats you want to stay away from.
Okay.
Poly and monounsaturated fats help to lower your LDL cholesterol and raise your HDL cholesterol. So those are the fats you would like to have because it's helping to take away that bad cholesterol and raise your good one.
That's important. I think a lot of people ask that question because
Yes.
they talk about fats, what's good fat, what's bad, and so saturated we're staying away from. So I appreciate this information. We could probably have you back 100 times because
Talk
there's
for
a million,
hours.
million other topics, but I think this is a little basis for where we're going. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really
thank
appreciate
you. And
it.
hopefully we could talk more about this in another time.
Of course.
Okay, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Up on the roof, this whole world starts getting me down, and people are just too much for me to take. I climb way up to the top of the stairs, and all my cares just drift right into space. On the roof, the only place I know, where you just have to wish to make it so. Keep telling you and right smack dab in the middle of town.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Unfortunately, my next guest was supposed to be Daniel Gaudet from the ADA committee. He's the new chair. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us today, so luckily, we have the former chair with us today, and she's also the outreach coordinator for the Clifton Advisory Committee for Individuals with Disabilities. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Colleen Murray. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
And Colleen was the former chair for this committee, and she's probably one of the longest members on this committee. So you could obviously explain what we're going to ask. From time to time, we like to bring on different people from committees in Clifton so that you know what's available in Clifton. This happens to be the ADA committee, Clifton Advisory Committee for Individuals with Disabilities. So maybe just briefly explain what this committee is involved with.
This committee was formed by the Municipal Council back in 1980 to advise the council of the needs of the disabled throughout the city. And the committee members take information from any source in the city and discuss it at our meetings. And then we advise the mayor and council of things that they should look into and rectify so
Right.
that the disabled can have greater access throughout the city.
So who has input into this committee? I mean, you bring things to the table? Or let's, for example, what would they have been involved with? Maybe the crosswalks, something like that? Just give an example of what they would advise the council on.
Well, issues are mainly parking lots without adequate parking spaces. Illegal parking is a big factor where people will park where they shouldn't.
Right.
And the cutouts throughout the city, broken sidewalks, no handicap parking or no handicap door to get in or out, you know, no easy access for disabled. And there are a lot of places that do not have access.
That's what I was going to ask you. Someone, maybe someone handicapped would go to a restaurant and they weren't handicapped accessible, although by law, pretty much everyone is, but this would be something someone would call someone on the committee and say, could Clifton look into
Yes.
this?
Plus, they can come to a meeting. We do have a public portion where they are welcome.
Okay. Because you have meetings once a month, right?
Once a month, the third Monday of the month.
Okay, and it's an advisory board to the city
Yes.
council?
We advise the mayor and council of the needs throughout the city, and then they come back to us, or they take it to the ADA representative
Right.
for the city, Paula. I forgot her last name.
Yeah,
And
sure.
she goes out and inspects.
Right, and then so the city council may have to set a policy for something else?
Yes.
Or a motion to maybe extra handicap spot or something has to be fixed in the
Yes.
city.
They do that.
I think Clifton's pretty good. I think we're pretty compliant with most things. I think new issues, is there any new issues now coming up for handicap? I mean, elevators or anything that we should, on the rise?
Well, there are some places that still have not complied, but they're being worked on.
Okay. And now you're also the outreach coordinator, so you run events or any events that we should know about now?
During my term as chair, we did go out throughout the city and put brochures advising the public of our existence,
Right.
because nobody seems to know this committee exists.
Right.
And this year, as the outreach coordinator, we are going to have on April 18th the movie Dumbo. It will be held at the senior center in town, and we are asking disabled children and their siblings, other children, grandparents, parents, to come and have lunch with Dumbo.
Oh,
They will
nice.
bring their own lunch, but
Oh, that's nice.
we will show them the movie, and then we are co-joining with the 2 mental health groups in town to devise a simple questionnaire that we can discuss with the children, how Dumbo was different, the problems he encountered, how he was treated and his feelings, and talk about bullying. And if you see somebody bullying somebody
Right.
that has a disability or is different,
Right.
to step in and not let them be bullied.
Because
Be a friend.
mental
Be a
health can be
friend,
a
right.
disability also.
Right.
Doesn't always have to be something that we see.
Right.
There's a lot of other disabilities that people experience that this committee gets involved. And I don't know how to word this, because how can people get involved in this? Because I know, how are people picked for this committee? That's the first thing.
Anyone who would like to join the disability committee can fill out an application with the city clerk
Okay.
and submit it. And then when there is an opening,
Right.
their name can be submitted to the mayor and council, and then they're appointed.
Right, so there's terms then, right?
Yes.
Everyone's appointed for X amount
Certain
of time.
terms, yes.
And then the city council either renews their term or replaces them with someone
Right.
else. Obviously, everybody on this committee is really pretty good. So it's a tough turnaround, but we do have alternates.
Right.
And I guess people should put their names in, just in case, because people do come and go.
Well, we did go to the volunteer expo at the Boys and Girls
Right.
Club, and we did have out a number of flyers on the table in the City Hall lobby, and they really were taken by a lot of people, so we're hoping
Yeah.
that there will be a list, so when vacancies come up, we can fill
Okay.
them quickly, because in the past, we had to wait quite a
Right,
while
right.
before somebody got on.
Okay, Colleen, I appreciate all the information. This is just something people should be aware of, that we do have an ADA committee, and it's mandated to have this committee, and obviously you've been on a long time.
Can I tell them why they should join?
Sure.
Okay, anyone who's interested in helping someone else, reasons for joining, I have 5. One is you will make new friends, you will feel real good, you will make someone else feel real good, your family and friends will feel real proud of you, and you will have so much more than you could ever imagine when dealing with people.
Right. Because
It's a good committee.
Yeah, helping
Just-
people is a great thing.
Yeah,
It's a
it
good
is,
committee.
it
So
is.
I appreciate
Oh,
everything.
I
Thank you for
appreciate
coming
you,
on.
Ray. Ray is our liaison,
Yes, I am.
alternate.
Alternate liaison. Okay, we'll be right back.
Hello, Clifton and friends. Welcome to the updates, and thanks for tuning in. Well, welcome to an early St. Patty's Day. Hope you have a good day, and also an early spring. So enjoy that and the good weather coming up. Now, the St. Patty's Day dinner dance will be held at the Athena Veterans Post. It's hosted by the Ladies Auxiliary, and they are located at 147 Huron Avenue in Clifton. It is a dinner dance on Saturday, March 14th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So please call 973-778-0931 for tickets, and it is $35 donation per person, but you'll have a full dinner for St. Patty's Day and dancing to a band as well. Then on Saturday, March 28th, the Red Hat Angels are going to have an all-you-can-eat breakfast, which is at the Grand Saloon right on Van Houten Avenue. It's 940 Van Houten Avenue. The cost is $20 per adult or $12 for any child 12 and under. So please call for tickets 201-893-0473. And again, that's Saturday, March 28th, and that's for the Red Hat Angels, and it's good cause for their fundraising for a cure for cancer. So please keep that in mind. And they're not done yet. They're doing more fundraising at Wendy's April 1st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's the Wendy's on 83 Main Avenue in Clifton. The Red Hat Angels are raising funds for their Relay for Life, which happens every year. Again, fundraisers for cancer awareness and the cure for cancer. Then the last is a save the date, which is April 24th, Friday, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The Boys and Girls Club of Clifton will have Dance the Night Away. They will have the Swingmen and the Misfit Mutts. Again, it's for the Boys and Girls Club fundraiser. The tickets are $15 advance sale, so please call the Athena Veterans Post, which is on 147 Huron Ave. They will have dancing, a cash bar, there will be bar food, door prizes, a fun night. So again, save the date, that's Friday, April 24th. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So hopefully we'll see you at some of the events, having fun, getting to meet new people, getting to meet some of your friends as well that you haven't seen in a while. So thank you for tuning in, and see you around town.
Okay, welcome back. My next guest is going to talk about the census, which is up this year. It's very important. First, let me welcome freeholder John Bartlett, Passaic County. How are you, John?
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me, Ray.
The census, when is it going to take place first? It's this year, and you know, how do we go about
Sure.
this?
So the census is this year. Every year that ends in a zero.
Okay.
Since 1790, the U.S. Census has been taken. It's a count of every person in the country. Not just every adult, not just every citizen. It's a count of every person in the country. And it starts in mid-March. Folks will get something in their mail inviting them to participate in the census. It's very easy to do this year. You can fill out the paper form like a lot of folks are used to, or you can go online, or you can actually complete your census by telephone.
At some point during the census, will someone come to your door? I mean, is there a way to know if everyone's accounted for? I don't think so, right?
Yes. Well, at some
Or
point,
maybe there is.
If you don't respond, at some point, somebody will come to you.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. So the U.S. Census Bureau starts this process years in advance,
Okay.
getting ready for the 2020 census, getting ready for each decennial census. And the first thing they do is send out mail. They try and get folks to respond by mail. A lot of people do, but some don't. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how some communities are harder to count than others. But what happens next is you'll get a postcard in the mail to remind you, and then by about late April or May, anybody who hasn't responded, there are going to be what are called census enumerators, which are people right here in the community. Actually, these jobs are one of the opportunities
Right.
for people this year, who will come to your door and help you complete your census form. All that is done by about the end of June. And by fall, we'll know how many people there are in Passaic County, in Clifton, in the United States of America.
Okay, and I think this is important, and people don't understand that if it's not a complete census, we're talking about Passaic County. How does that affect it? If not enough register, what's the detriment here? If
Ray, it costs us millions of dollars.
Okay.
And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that.
Please.
The U.S. government allocates about $900 billion every year based on where the people are, based on population. So when we count everybody in our city and our county and our state, we get access to all of those funds. The more we undercount people, the less of those funds we get. In 2010, a lot of parts of Passaic County, particularly Clifton, Passaic, Patterson, were undercounted. That cost us millions of dollars. And at the level of the state, that actually cost us a seat in Congress. There used to be 13 members of Congress from New Jersey. Now there are 12. And we're determined to make sure that in 2020, that doesn't happen again.
Right, because if we're short a congressman, we have less of a say in the government, right, for our county, technically.
Exactly. It's literally the votes that we have in Washington. It's even the votes that we have in Trenton. Where the population is within New Jersey determines how our legislative districts get drawn.
Right.
So it's about representation and it's about resources. They estimate that each person that we don't count costs us about $2,500. And that's funding for roads, that's funding for schools, hospitals, law enforcement, social services, all kinds of things. I can give you some examples right here in Clifton. You probably know I'm very active on issues like infrastructure, roads, bridges, the quality of our transportation system. We've got a project going on right now at Route 46 and Route 3 here in Clifton and Little Falls, as everybody here knows very, very well. That project altogether has a value of $309 million of federal funding that's being spent here. Well, a couple years ago when we went looking for that funding, part of the federal government's process was to say, well, where are the people? Where are the people and where do we need to allocate our money based on where the people are? And when we count everybody, we get those resources. Pick a town somewhere else in the United States, they count every last family, every last kid. If they've got a classroom with 30 students, they're going to get 30 students worth of federal funding for that classroom. If we undercount, we still have 30 students in the classroom, but we don't get all the funding we might
So
get.
basically what you're saying is it's volume. They're going to say, well, gee, you only have X amount of people. We don't need this for the traffic. But if you have the volume, which is going to be on the highways, it's important.
Exactly. Everybody we count makes a difference. Everybody we don't count literally costs us money and representation.
Okay, and the Census Bureau talks about hard to count people. I'm not too sure what that means.
Sure. So a hard to count community or hard to count individuals is anybody, well, it's sort of self-explanatory, that's harder to count. So very often that is children, senior citizens, people who are not citizens of the United States.
Right.
What folks don't realize sometimes is that the census is not just a count of citizens and not just a count of adults. It's a count of every last person from age 0 to age 110 and beyond who lives in this country, who lives in this city. So whether you have U.S. citizenship or not, whether you're registered to vote or not, whether you have legal status or not, you are someone that needs to get counted in the census.
Okay, and this map here, that shows...
Yeah. So this is, I brought this with me.
that's
These
important.
are the hard to count communities in Passaic County. So what you're looking at here is the southern part of Passaic County. Here's Wayne and North Haledon, down to us here in Clifton and Passaic. So obviously one of the big challenges is a place like Patterson or Passaic, where you've got large immigrant communities, you've got large communities of seniors, of children, other folks that are in those hard to count categories. Likewise, right here in Clifton, you have the section sort of from the Patterson line down to the Dutch Hill area. More immigrant communities, more households that may not be familiar with the census. Richfield Village is a hard to count community. Very often apartment buildings, multifamily dwellings are harder to count for a couple of reasons. First of all, maybe renters pay less attention to some of those things, particularly if they're more transient, if they're younger or they're older. Also, that second step where the enumerators go door to door, a lot harder to do in an apartment building.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you've got multifamily homes, when you've got immigrant communities, when you've got, like I say, families with children that may not realize that everyone counts down to, if you have a baby in March, April 1st is Census Day, and your baby exists, and she gets counted.
Okay.
So these are the parts of our county that we're particularly trying to focus on with our complete count efforts, but it really applies to all of us. Wherever you are in Passaic County, it's important to get counted. It's important to make sure your household, your neighbor all folks know to respond to the census.
And just for the people watching, I like to stress the undocumented people living here. They shouldn't have any fear of this.
That's correct. One of the key messages that we're trying to get out through our Census Ambassadors program, which I'll talk about in a minute, is that the census is safe. It's really a three-part message. The census is important, it's safe, and it's easy. The important part we talked about.
Right.
That's the funding, it's the representation. It is safe. The federal law prevents anyone at the Census Bureau from ever sharing your data with anybody, under penalty of 5 years in prison. So whether you are a citizen or a person without legal status, whatever concerns you may have about being counted, you need not have those concerns. All of your information is completely confidential under federal law.
Okay, and I think, I'm trying to get a perspective here is everyone should be counted, because even if you're undocumented or whatever and you're protected, we need your count because everyone benefits from the funding that we get.
Absolutely.
Right. No matter where they are, they're going to benefit from the roads or the housing or whatever.
Or school.
So the schools, we need the account. So
I think that's exactly right, which is why one of the things we're really investing in Passaic County this year is making sure everybody knows that. And we've created a complete count committee at the county level. Folks from here in Clifton are part of it as well.
Right.
And we're launching what we're calling a Census Ambassadors program. We actually did our first training just the other day, and we've got more trainings coming up. A Census Ambassador could be anybody who's watching this program. And the role of the Census Ambassador is to get this information out, to explain to people in your community. So here's the thing, right? You and I are both public figures. We connect with a lot of people.
Right.
We don't connect with everybody.
Right.
We don't connect with every corner of the community, but every last person has to get counted. So we want Census Ambassadors in these multifamily dwellings. We want Census Ambassadors in neighborhoods. Like actually, one of the somewhat harder to count areas is in the Dwasline section down towards Delawana.
Right.
Folks in that area who can get out to their churches, their community organizations, their neighborhoods, and talk about why the census matters and make sure that their credible voice is out there saying, hey neighbor, this is important, it's safe, and it's easy.
Okay.
Those ambassadors have a chance to earn a stipend from the county, to have technical support and training from us to do what they're doing, and hopefully with the support of all kinds of ambassadors all over the county, we're going to make sure that we get a little bit less red, a little bit less orange on the map next year. This is 10 years ago. If we can do better than this,
Right.
more funding, more representation, more opportunity for all
And
of us.
John, lastly, we're talking about the ambassadors and the stipends and things that raises an eyebrow. Just really quickly, how do they get involved? Who do they contact?
So the best thing to do
That's what I really want.
is to email census@PassaiCountyNJ.org. I probably should have brought that
No,
up.
we'll put it up on the screen.
But census@PassaiCountyNJ.org. Send that email in. We'll get back to you with information on how to become an ambassador. Even if you don't want to become an ambassador, but you have a question about the census, how it affects you or your family, where to go to fill it out. One of the things that we're going to be providing later on in the spring, in April and May, is what we're calling census kiosks. Not everybody has a computer at home or has easy access to the internet. We're going to bring tablet computers out, and we're going to work with the Census Bureau to give people maybe after church on a Sunday, maybe at a community center or in one of the kind of places that we were talking about, the chance to get online right then and there and fill it out.
Okay. I appreciate it. This is very important, so let's get the census done right, because it's not going to be done for another 10 years.
That's right.
Again, thank you
That's
for
right.
coming on the program.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Thank you, George.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Something's got a hold on me, yeah, yeah. Oh, it must be love. Ah, something's got a hold on me right now, babe. Oh, it must be love. Let me tell you now, I never felt like this before. Something's got a hold on me, I won't let go. I believe I die in my holy foot. Sure feels strange and it sure feels good. I said, oh, 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 oh. I said, oh, yeah, you know it must be love. Let me tell you now.
Okay, that's our show for tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. As always, we learned a lot of information Of course, one of the most important things tonight is the census. It's very good to make sure that we're all accounted for in the city, the state, and the country. So, but in the meantime, thank you, George, for tonight. It was a
Been a
good show.
pleasure,
Thank you.
as
But in the
always.
meantime, be good to your friends and family. Respect your neighbors. Keep Clifton close to your heart. This is a great city. Thank you. God bless, and good night.